Every agent who has been in the business more than 2 years has a list of questions they answer on repeat. Every single week, someone asks about the difference between pre-qualification and pre-approval. Every single week, someone asks what earnest money is and whether they lose it if the deal falls through. Every week, someone asks about closing costs and whether they knew about them at the beginning. These are questions you can answer in your sleep. They are also questions that, if they were on your website in a well-written FAQ, would save you 20 minutes per new client and would make your website a useful resource instead of a digital business card. In this video, I'll take a list of 12 questions clients frequently ask me and generate a complete, publishable FAQ page draft in under 10 minutes using ChatGPT. Answers written in a professional but conversational tone, with the right amount of detail for a buyer or seller who found your website through a Google search. Writing a 12-question FAQ manually takes 3 hours minimum if you want the answers to be genuinely useful rather than one-line placeholders. Quick disclaimer: this is a productivity demo, not professional or legal advice. Website content has specific compliance considerations. In the U.S., FTC guidelines apply to any claims on your website, and Fair Housing Act language extends to web content. In the UK, ESA advertising standards apply. In Canada and Australia, similar consumer protection rules govern public website content. Any FAQ answer that touches on pricing, legal terms, or jurisdiction-specific process must be reviewed for accuracy and compliance before publishing. Some topics: mortgage terms, contract interpretation, tax implications, should include a disclaimer within the answer directing readers to the appropriate professional. This workflow generates drafts. You review for accuracy and compliance before your FAQ goes live. Some links are affiliate. Full disclosure in the description. Most agents either have no FAQ page or have a page with 5 very generic questions that were copied from a template and have not been updated since the website launched. The problem is not motivation. Agents know a FAQ page would be useful. The problem is that writing a genuinely good FAQ feels like a big project. 12 questions, 4 to 6 sentences each, all in a consistent tone, all covering the right level of detail without being too technical for a first-time buyer or too basic for an experienced seller. Starting from a blank document with that scope is intimidating. So it stays on the to-do list for 3 years. I built my first FAQ page manually about 4 years in. It took me a full Saturday, and the answers were fine but inconsistent. The first 3 were detailed and conversational. The last 4 were rushed and thin because I ran out of steam. That inconsistency is visible to anyone who reads the whole page. This prompt generates all 12 at once, so the quality and length are consistent across every answer. Your FAQ starts with a question list. The best source is your own memory. Spend 5 minutes writing down every question you have answered in the last 2 months. For most agents, this produces 15 to 20 questions immediately. Then check your email. Search for questions marked in your inbox from clients, buyers, and sellers. That search in most email clients surfaces the questions your clients actually ask as opposed to the questions you think they ask. You can also add questions from your consultation meetings that repeat across multiple clients. Once you have the list, you do a quick sort. Which questions are general enough to answer publicly without it being transaction-specific, and which are so jurisdiction-specific that the answer needs a strong qualification. The jurisdiction-specific ones go in the FAQ with a disclaimer sentence built in. I'll show you how to handle that in the prompt. For the demo, I have a sample list of 12 questions. Let me open ChatGPT. Here is the complete prompt. Role instruction: you are a real estate content writer helping an agent write a professional website FAQ page. Answers should be clear, helpful, and written in a warm, professional tone, as if the agent is talking directly to a potential client. Then the agent context block. Agent works primarily with buyers and sellers in the Denver, Colorado metro area, has 12 years experience, focus on residential properties, works with first-time buyers and move-up sellers. Then the output requirements. Write a complete FAQ entry for each question below. Each answer should be 3 to 5 sentences, direct and clear, appropriate for someone who found the agent's website through a Google search. Where the answer depends on local regulations, include a sentence directing the reader to consult their licensed professional. Do not use jargon without explaining it. Do not give specific financial, legal, or investment advice. Then the question list. I will paste 12 questions. What is the difference between pre-qualification and pre-approval? What is earnest money, and can I lose it? How long does the home buying process typically take? What does a buyer's agent do, and does it cost me anything? What are closing costs, and how much should I expect? What happens at a home inspection? What is a contingency, and should I waive mine? How do I make an offer on a house? What is the best time of year to buy or sell? How does the agent commission work? What should I look for when touring homes? And what documents do I need to get pre-approved? 12 questions, running the prompt now. 12 FAQ entries come back. Here is the review checklist I use for every answer before it goes on a website. First, is the answer factually accurate for my market? The model generates answers based on general real estate practice. Most of it is accurate nationally, but the closing cost question, for example, might reference a typical range that differs significantly from Denver closing costs specifically. I update any number or claim that is not accurate for my market. Second, is the tone consistent with my voice? Read every answer out loud and swap any word or phrase that sounds unnatural. Third, does any answer make a specific financial or legal claim it should not? The contingency and earnest money questions are the ones most likely to drift into statement of fact territory about what is legally required or what always happens. Those need a qualification sentence added. Fourth, are there any fair housing red flags anywhere in the answers? I ran a version of this prompt for a different agent without the fair housing guardrail in the output requirements, and the best time of year to buy question answer included language about which neighborhoods are most sought after, phrasing that can drift close to fair housing territory. Adding the no financial, legal, or investment advice guardrail to the output requirements largely prevents it, but you still check. Once all 12 answers are reviewed and adjusted, I copy the full output into a Google Doc, do a final format pass, making sure each question is clearly labeled as a heading and each answer is a clean paragraph, and then I export or copy it to my website CMS. Most website platforms used by real estate agents, Squarespace, Wix, WordPress, Agent Fire, Sierra Interactive, have a simple page editor where you paste formatted text. The FAQ page is one of the highest value pages on a real estate agent website from an SEO perspective because it is full of natural language questions that match Google search queries exactly. Someone searching what is earnest money real estate is highly likely to find and read your FAQ. And a visitor who finds your site through a specific question has a much higher intent level than someone who found your homepage. I was going to add a call to action at the bottom of each individual FAQ answer originally, like after every answer, mention you are available for a call. But after reviewing it, I kept only one CTA at the bottom of the full page. Multiple CTAs in individual answers make the page feel like a sales pitch rather than a useful resource, and readers can tell the difference. One CTA at the end of a genuinely useful page converts better than one embedded in every single answer. Time from this session. Writing the question list from memory, 5 minutes. Typing the prompt and running ChatGPT, 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Reviewing 12 answers and making 7 edits for accuracy and tone, 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Copying to Google Docs and formatting, 2 minutes. Total, 19 minutes. Manual version, 3 to 4 hours minimum for 12 well-written FAQ entries with consistent quality across all 12. The other comparison worth noting is what happens when someone reads your FAQ. A page written in one prompt session has a consistent voice and consistent level of detail across all 12 answers. A page written manually over 3 or 4 hours typically has visibly inconsistent quality, detailed answers at the top, thin answers at the bottom, which readers notice even if they do not consciously identify why. Consistent quality across the full page is what makes it a useful resource rather than a placeholder. The full FAQ generation prompt is in the description. Swap in your market context and your question list, and you have a draft in 10 minutes. I linked a Google Docs FAQ template with heading structure pre-built, so you can paste and publish quickly. The free prompt pack in the description has this plus 9 other website and marketing workflow prompts. Subscribe for 3 AI workflows a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Next video, I am covering translation and cultural adaptation of your marketing materials for the Spanish-speaking buyer market. One prompt that generates both a Spanish translation and a culturally adapted version, not just a literal word-for-word translation. See you then.